Whose home was this?
Been abandoned long since I've lived here. Rumour was a Hogwarts professor lived here once, centuries ago. But that's all I ever heard.
Revelio! Revelio. Always armed and ready for a fight, Ranrock's loyalists.
It might be worth taking a closer look at the house itself.
Revelio! This well looks familiar. Sabastian! I've seen this before. This house, the well, the view.
What do you mean? When?
Give me a moment. I'll explain in a second. Sabastian, over here. Do you think that this was damaged by the fire the night that Anne was cursed?
Could be. But it looks to me as though this was intentional.
Confringo! Sabastian, this house did belong to a Hogwarts professor, hundreds of years ago.
Who? What do you—
I found a pensive that day in the restricted section with a memory that showed this house. There was a little girl and a drought. The keepers have shown me other memories as well. The girl became a Hogwarts professor. Her name was Isadora Morganach. She was one of the keepers.
The keepers? Like in Quidditch? And you found a pensive in the library? I'm not following you.
I realise it's a lot to take in. I'm not even sure I understand it all yet. And no, not like Quidditch. They call themselves keepers because they're protecting some type of knowledge. It has to do with the vault at Gringotts.
Let me see if I've got this straight. You have Ranrock and Rookwood after you because of something you found at Gringotts where you ended up via a portkey. You can see traces of an ancient magic that you think Ranrock is trying to harness. And now you've been witnessing memories left by keepers. Oh, and this house belonged to a Hogwarts professor who was one of these non-Quidditch keepers hundreds of years ago. If I didn't know you, I'd think you were pulling my leg.
It is all a bit much, isn't it, when you put it like that? The point is, we both have good reason to search this house. You for answers about what happened to Anne, and me for answers about the keepers.
Look at this.
Someone piled this here for a reason. Is it blocking something?
Only one way to find out.
Confringo!
A stairwell.
Lumos!
Why bother blocking a stairwell?
There might be something here worth a closer look.
They've left all of this simply strewn about. Tells me they're after something bigger.
Incendio! Confringo! Incendio! A journal entry of Isadora's. I should hold on to this. Seems these journal entries are from Isadora's travels. Confringo! Revelio! You're not going to believe this. I can see the Undercroft.
What? A daydream? Because that happens to me too.
Lumos! I know it sounds strange, but...
Honestly, nothing you say sounds strange to me anymore.
Fair enough. I can see the Undercroft through this stone wall, as though it's a window. This has happened before.
I'm listening.
I think it's to do with my ability to see traces of ancient magic.
But you said you didn't really understand it, and that you couldn't wield it.
That's true, and I'm still not sure what it all means. What I do know is that my ability allows me to travel through these windows I see.
Wait, we can get straight to the Undercroft from here. Ominis will be floored.
We can. But perhaps best not to tell anyone else about this for now. Even Ominis.
Understood. Well then, invisible, secret, ancient magic passageway? Here we come. I'm tempted to hold my breath. Why would the door lead us here?
Sebastian, look. Why hide a triptych here?
Seems as if something's missing.
A note. Let's have a look.
Anything helpful in the note?
A rune symbol. I've seen similar symbols used by the keepers.
I've been thinking. A keeper lived in that house centuries ago, and Ranrock and his lot have been searching there. You said that goblins may be wielding some form of this ancient magic. Do you think Anne was cursed by ancient magic?
I can't be sure, of course, but I don't think so. I didn't see any traces of it around your sister.
Very well. But that doesn't mean it's not ancient magic. There's still so much we don't know about it.
True. Perhaps this triptych will lead us to answers.
Then we'll have to unravel what this all means. But now I need to see Ominis. Don't worry, I won't tell him anything. Did I mention that, apparently, Salazar Slytherin had a secret Scriptorium here, in Hogwarts?
You did not? Sounds worth looking into. Any idea where in the castle?
No idea. Ominis just learned of it. I'll let you know what I find out. I had no idea our visit to Sian would unfold into all of this. My head's an utter mess. But I'm glad you told me everything you did. I'll be in touch. Till then.
Meet me near the ruins of Falbarton Castle. After dark. Do not tell anyone.
Seen this many plants here before?
Arrest that momentum!
Adelaide Oaks, isn't it? I received your owl.
Yes, I'm Adelaide Oaks. Oh dear. You see, my Uncle Roland is a metal trader who's quite well known in the goblin community. He normally sends me owls every week when he's on his business travels. In his last owl, he alluded to dealings with those radical goblins, Ranrock's loyalists. It's been ages since that owl and I'm worried. What with the troll attack on Hogsmeade and the rumours that goblins may have been involved, well, I'm fearing the worst. Should I be worried about my uncle, or am I overthinking this?
I think you're right to be concerned, Adelaide. Your uncle may be in trouble.
You're much more understanding than Professor Weasley. She heard I was going to look for him and forbade me from leaving the grounds. She's convinced he can handle himself, but I can't concentrate on anything until I know he's all right. Could you try to find out for me? From what I hear, you're almost as adventurous as Uncle Roland.
Has your uncle traded with many goblins?
Yes, for ages. Even speaks gobbledygook. But he only recently mentioned Ranrock's lot, insisting the galleons were worth the risk. He does it for me. Between robes and supplies, attending Hogwarts costs a fair sickle. And besides that, Uncle Roland has expensive taste. He's sacrificed so much for me over the years. I promised him that as soon as I finish Hogwarts, I shall be the one taking care of him.
I take it you and your uncle are close.
We are. My mother died when I was born, and I lost my father when I was 5. Uncle Roland's looked after me for as long as I can remember. He knows I get anxious when he travels, and that's why he sends me all the owls, to let me know that he's all right.
I'll try and look into it for you, Adelaide.
Thank you. He's very thorough in his record keeping, notes all his trades in a journal, makes maps. In fact, in his last owl, he drew me a map of his next stop. He'd planned to set up camp north of here. I do hope you're able to find out where he is. Thank you again for any help you can provide. Uncle Roland would never leave me to worry like this.
Did I tell you I've been in touch with the Ministry about the artifact? Still haven't heard back.
Aloha, Mora.
And your reading is the dragon. That's exciting, I suppose. Perhaps you're due for an adventure.
Ladies,
Professor Shah!
astronomy is not divination. You won't find the mysteries of the cosmos charted out on your palms or at the bottom of your teacups. Alas, the heavens remain hazy to the starry-eyed. Now, if you were to devote yourselves to persistent and painstaking observation, you just might catch a glimpse. With that in mind, please take your telescopes. Tonight we will be on the observation deck. Still don't have your own? You can't be the new student forever, you know. You can share with Mr. Takar.
Here, I can adjust that for you.
No, bring it into focus on your own. Now, I expect all of you to put in your stargazing hours outside of class. Is that clear?
But, Professor, it's freezing out.
Mere cold didn't stop the great stargazers of the past. Look only to the astronomy tables they erected throughout the highlands from which they gazed millennia ago on the very self-same stars above us. Is that clear? Dismissed.
Oh, hello. I'm Amit. We met in potions class. I'm happy to report that we've yet to have any explosions in this class.
Oh, hello, Amit. Nice to see you again.
Did I hear Professor Shaw say that you don't have your own telescope? I have a spare one you could borrow for the rest of term.
That's very kind of you, Amit. Are you sure you won't need it?
I'm certain. It's my old one. I finally got my hands on the new Celestia Contemplar. You've heard of it, I assume? I mean, of course you have. It's only the pinnacle of all personal stargazing implements. But my old model's not too shabby either. Goblin-cut glass, first-rate optical enchantments. Hate to think such a fine instrument is just collecting dust.
Well, thank you, Amit.
Think nothing of it. Anyway, the telescope's in the storage room right underneath us. You can't miss it. I have some, reading to finish on the lower deck. Come find me there afterwards, and bring the telescope. There's something I want to talk to you about.
Tried to put off my stargazing as long as I could. A lot of good that did. How am I supposed to find Sirius when my hands are too cold to use a telescope? It's a dog, isn't it?
The constellations are beautiful. Not sure they're worth dying of a cold for, but they are beautiful.
Not sure what you can learn from these astronomy tables that you can't learn from a cup of tea leaves.
Amit thinks he knows everything. Even told me he can speak gobbledygook. Sounded like gibberish to me.
I had heard about these odd stone tables out in the Highlands. Perhaps that's what Professor Shah was talking about.
Tried to put off my stargazing as long as I could. A lot of good that did. How am I supposed to find Sirius when my hands are too cold to use a telescope? It's a dog, isn't it?
This was his old telescope. Looks practically brand new.
a pristine night.
Professor Shah, I'm interested in learning more about astronomy.
It is increasingly rare to find a student who seeks after things celestial of their own accord. But if you truly desire to chart the courses of the cosmos, you must rid your mind of the terrestrial babble of others. We ourselves are not unlike blank star charts, you know. Empty canvases waiting to be inscribed with all that the universe has to offer. Do you understand?
Am I right in thinking you are unimpressed by divination?
Of the many other so-called disciplines taught here, divination is perhaps the most feeble, especially in its nonsensical practice of astrology. Do not confuse astronomy and astrology. One is concerned with mysteries stellar and lunar, the other is mere lunacy.
You mentioned astronomy tables earlier in class. What were you talking about?
Long ago, devotees of the astral arts set up stone slabs across the countryside. They are ideal for studying constellations near and far. For centuries, wizards made use of these astronomy tables for stargazing. Sadly, they have since become mere monuments to the intrepid intellectual pursuits of a bygone epoch.
Thank you, Professor. I look forward to stargazing.
I am glad to hear it. Should be a stellar night for it.
The perfect night for... Oh, hello again.
I have the telescope. It's nicer than I'd expected.
I would not offer a prospective stargazer a third-rate lunoscope. But there is, something else.
Yes, what is it?
You remember those astronomy tables Shah was going on about? It just so happens I've been reading up on them a little myself. And it seems there may be one right here at Hogwarts. I believe we could use it to find hidden constellations.
And you need someone to help find it.
I do. Are you in? No one from the Gobstones Club will go with me. Said they'd rather get spit at by a stone than... Well, they are cowards. Let us get moving while the stars are still out. I'll show you how to use that telescope once we get there. I promise.
No need to convince me. Let's get going.
Brilliant. You won't regret it. Shall we? The table is on a castle wall ahead. Look for a stone platform, something that doesn't quite belong. We'll know it when we see it. Onwards we go. Some say the locations of the tables were originally marked by centaurs for ritual stargazing. It is nice having a fellow stargazer to explore with.
Happy to be here. It is good to leave the classroom now and then.
It's not that creepy out here at night, is it? The gobs... Here I am, charging ahead. Why don't you lead the way?
If you're sure.
A little foreboding.
A few cobwebs and some dust. Nothing to be concerned about.
Oh, of course. It's just not as tidy as I expected.
Incendio! Confringo! Incendio!
More cobwebs. You don't think any spiders might be lurking about?
Oh no, not this close to school, I meet.
The constellation should appear near the center of your view. I was right about the tables. They really are gateways to the far stars, just as the book said. And your contribution was invaluable. Rest assured, you shall be credited in my memoirs one day.
Thank you, Amit. I look forward to reading them.
And I look forward to writing them. This is only the beginning. You will find more tables like this one throughout the grounds and forest, all beckoning to be discovered by a worthy astronomer. And if I have ever seen one, it's you. Oh, and about my old telescope, don't bother returning it. You should keep it.
That's quite generous. Thank you.
You are welcome. It has goblin-cut glass and a gobbledygook inscription. I'm practically fluent in gobbledygook, you know. It's all in the throat, really, gobbledygook, you know, and how you pronounce your R's. Anyway, glad our adventure was a success. I will see you soon.
I hope Adelaide's Uncle Roland is all right. She seems very worried. Adelaide mentioned her uncle's camp may be near Brockborough, past the river.
Never do get tired of seeing the astronomy tower at night. What a view.
Hello, Samantha. Are you here for Summoner's Court?
I am. I'm actually rather good at it. Used to play all the time with my brother until... Never mind. Shall we begin?
Yes, I'm ready to play.
Then let's get summoning. Accio! What was I thinking?
Accio!
was sensational! Accio! Yes! How am I to top that? Accio! Yes!
Accio!
How am I to top that? That settles it, then. After your poor show against Natty in class, I thought I could beat you. Appears I overestimated myself.
Don't say that, Samantha. You're a fine player.
Well, that's very kind of you. Let's just say if I'm good, then you're better. I happen to know who you're up against next, and she's no shy opponent. Best of luck.
Deke hasn't seen this many plants here before.
Handy resource indeed, your field guide. I'm most pleased to be included.
Anything to do with the dark arts should be avoided. It's too risky.
Anything to do with Salazar Slytherin is worth the risk.
I can't agree. And I'll not say a word more. I'm sorry.
I won't give up.
What were you and Ominis speaking about?
He's being ridiculous. Apparently Salazar Slytherin had a secret Scriptorium here in Hogwarts. Ominis swears it was used for the dark arts, so he wants nothing to do with it. I reminded him that Anne needs a cure. This Scriptorium could hold the answers we need.
Ominis is right. Meddling in the dark arts is dangerous.
There's more to dark magic than people realize. The Gaunts know this, better than most. Perhaps I've spoken out of turn. Ominis' family history is personal to him.
I'd like to know more about it if you wouldn't mind telling me. I won't repeat it.
Very well. But do keep this between us. Ominis learned dark magic from his parents. Are you familiar with the Cruciatus curse?
What does the Cruciatus curse do?
It's known as the torture curse, Crucio. It inflicts intense, excruciating pain on the victim. Apparently, his parents and older siblings had no qualms about casting it on muggles for sport. Ominis described the sound of the victim's cries as horrific, so the first time he was asked to cast it himself as a child, he couldn't bring himself to do it. As punishment, his family cast it on him. The anguish was so bad that when asked to cast it again, he relented. I have repeatedly assured Ominis that he did what he had to, but he still hasn't forgiven himself.
How horrible. Poor Ominis. He was only a child. He shouldn't blame himself.
After that incident, the rift between Ominis and his family only grew. That is until I came along. Every moment he isn't at Hogwarts, he's with us in Feldcroft. Ominis trusts me. And more often than not, he winds up listening to me. I'll remind him of that when I follow up about the Scriptorium. Watch for my owl. I'll have news soon enough. I'll make Ominis understand. He'll change his mind.
You miserable lout! Your sister has been in St. Mungo's for 3 days, and she's still vomiting slugs! If you ever point your wand at your family again, mark my words, you will lose that wand!
think they'd actually bring in a Dementor for defense against the dark arts? What better way to learn, I say?
I suppose in all fairness, one should be prepared for anything.
I bet all the answers to everything are in the restricted section. I think it should be a special treat in Year 5 that you get to go into it.
Professor Weasley said she'd help me with my switching spells after class. I think she's tired of finding partially transfigured items about the classroom.
If we were simply taught antidotes to common poisons, I truly think that would be enough to get us through life.
I asked Ronan what he'd recommend for a billywig sting, and he laughed and said, "Try not to be seen." I don't find that funny at all.
I wish Hogwarts would teach us how to become animagi. They do at Wagadoo. I'd be a Niffler, stock up on galleons.
Desperately need to improve my charms marks this year. Perhaps I can find a housemate to levitate.
Still have a bump on my head from herbology last week. The cotton fell out of my ear during a mandrake lesson. I came to with my head in an upturned plant pot.
All I can say is, it's lucky the boys have their own dormitories. The mess they make.
Weasley said she always found the dormitory a good place to read. Better than the library.
Emily promised to help me style my hair. Give her a ribbon and a wand and she can do anything.
I don't trust any of the boys. You find one venomous tentacular on your pillow and you don't soon forget.
I bet Black could tell a few tales about his days at Hogwarts. When he was a student, I mean.
I find the girls to be messier than trolls, truth be told.
All I have at home are brothers. I thought sharing a room...
I miss having my own bedroom. One of the girls in our room recites potion recipes in it.
See if there's something you need. It's been a pleasure.
This place has seen better days.
The Ministry ought to relax their feelings towards the dark arts.
Totalis. Rependo. Arresto momentum. Flipendo. Incendio.
Help me!
Incendio. Flipendo. Aloha Mora. Revelio. Incendio. Oh, here's a pleasant surprise. Revelio. Revelio.
Off on another adventure, are we?
This looks intriguing. Aloha Mora.
Over here, quietly. I'm glad that you received my owl. We need to stay low and remain quiet.
Natty, what's going on? Why are we all the way out here?
As promised, I did some investigating to find out what Harlow is up to. I followed him to the Hog's Head. I noticed him reading a letter. All I could see was that it was signed by and bore the seal of Victor Rookwood. And after you told me that Rookwood and Harlow were after you, I decided that you were the perfect person to join me in taking them down. For good. That letter is the tangible proof that Officer Singer needs. It is why I followed Harlow here and why I wrote to you. I need your help to retrieve it.
Can't we just bypass Officer Singer and go directly to the Ministry?
Do you think they will listen to a student? Only Officer Singer can start an investigation. The Ministry will come in later.
You seem to be very determined in stopping Rookwood and Harlow. Why?
I knew men like him in Uganda. I know how bad things can get if they are not stopped. It's a long story, one I promise to share when we have more time. For now, let's do what we came to do.
I'll help you find the letter, Natty.
I'm glad to hear it. First, we must access the castle keep. I'll check the main gate, see if you can find another way in. I do not see any guards, but we should still try to be as quiet as possible. Harlow is here after all.
Revelio. Incendio! Confringo! Incendio! Revelio. I wonder what that does. That did it. Accio. Wingardium Leviosa. Levioso! I need to find a way into the gatehouse to open the gate for Natty. Dead end. Must be another way in. That looks as if it might raise the gate. Accio. Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Leviosa. Accio. Wingardium Leviosa. Accio. Wingardium Leviosa. Levioso.
Well done. I will be right up. I knew you could do it. This way. I will get the door. the main keep. My guess is that we'll find Hollow and the letter inside. We'll need to be careful once we get...
I hear them.
Yeah! Restrain the beast!
Highwing!
Do you know that hippogriff?
Get these things back now!
Very well. New plan. I get the evidence and you free that hippogriff. Agreed? This is our chance. Go!
Blast it! There's gotta be another way to get up to the roof. Somewhere.
Nobody here. Waste of time.
Revelio!
It's been ages since I've found anything worth poaching near Crackcrop.
I hope Natty stays out of trouble.
Accio! Wingardium Leviosa! Levioso! Depulso! Levioso!
Not the safest place to sneak into.
Accio!
Revelio!
Confringo! Nerves.
Confringo!
Incendio!
Revelio!
Aloha Mora!
Revelio! I hope Natty's having an easier time of it. Aloha Mora. Revelio.
You're going home in a wooden box! Leviosa! Coward!
Hindering! Hacking order! Keep up! Arresto momentum!
Levioso!
Potato!
Would you like me to put you down? Levioso! Here's 10 points! Not so tough now, Levioso! Levioso! You after the golden Levioso!
Potato!
Out of you! Levioso! Would you like me to put you down? Levioso! Look alive! Levioso! You like games, do Levioso! Mind yourself! Levioso! Out of you! Levioso!
Debolso! Aloha Mora. Deke was right. We need to save you from these barbarians. Revelio. Revelio. Confringo. Confringo! Highwing, it's all right. There we go.
There you are.
Come on.
Hello, amor.
Hurry! Oh! There's the Hogwarts Express. Must be returning from an unscheduled run.
I wonder if anyone can see us from the castle. This is amazing!
It's incredible, isn't it?
How exciting.
It was exhilarating, wasn't it? I wasn't sure we were going to make it out alive.
There was no need to worry. I had it all under control.
Were you able to find the letter?
Summoned it straight out of Hallow's hands. I will say, I did not expect to see him cast the killing curse at us. He won't forget this. Be on your guard.
Of course. What did the letter say?
That Rookwood's looking for a phoenix. Not sure where he will find one. But it also included Hallow's orders to inspect that castle for the poachers. Enough to connect Hallow to the crimes. I shall deliver the letter to Officer Singer. She'll have to do something when she sees it. Now, tell me, where did you meet these hippogriffs?
I've only met Highwing before. Poppy introduced us.
Poppy Sweeting knows a hippogriff. Of course she does. Poppy will be relieved to know that Highwing's safe. I came to the right person for help. My mother will be worried. I must go. Seek me out soon. I shall have much to tell you.
I have learned of a wizard who is being harassed by Hallow. He may be able to provide the evidence we need to take Hallow down. We should speak with him together. Meet me at his home.
I assume you have news regarding the goblin you mentioned. Why don't we meet at the map chamber to discuss that and our next steps?
When you have a moment, please stop by the room of requirement. Deke tells me he has something to share with you.
You would be wise not to underestimate this student. Their aptitude for magic is beyond anything I've ever seen, and I've been teaching a long time.
It is a joy to have such a student.
It can be. There you are.
I've received your owl. I was able to speak with Lodgok, the goblin I mentioned before.
What did you learn?
He and Ranrock were close once, but they had a falling out.
You believe he can be trusted?
I believe he's trustworthy, yes. He seemed sincere, and Serona Ryan trusts him.
Very well. Supposing he can be trusted, will he help us get to Ranrock?
I retrieved a stolen helm he hopes to return to Ranrock in order to regain his confidence.
You have been busy. Let's hope your efforts result in our learning something about Ranrock's plans.
Lord Gok did mention that Ranrock is searching for something, but he couldn't say what. Perhaps that helm will yield some answers.
Ranrock is searching for something? I feared as much. I've heard an unusual amount of activity, goblins and wizards, I surmise, when visiting my portrait at my castle.
Rookwood Castle?
My former residence, yes. That castle is also the location of your next trial.
You didn't see anything? Speak with anyone?
I did not. In fact, I did not make myself known. I only recently returned there and did not recognize nor trust anyone that I heard. I stayed out of sight so as not to tempt my portrait's destruction.
I'm sorry to tell you that Victor Rookwood, evidently your descendant, is a dark wizard in league with Ranrock.
My descendant? A dark wizard? I'm afraid we've no time to waste. Despite the obstacles that clearly await you, you must get to Rookwood Castle immediately. Not only is it the location of the next trial, it is home to a source of power that would be devastating in the wrong hands. I do wish we had the luxury of time. However, I do not doubt your abilities. Find my portrait there as soon as you can.
Very well, sir. I'm on my way.
Best of luck. No time to waste. I'll meet you at Rookwood Castle.
pressed Ominis regarding Salazar Slytherin's Scriptorium, but my efforts were in vain. Meet me outside the Slytherin common room. We need to talk.
Professor Highwing will never believe this. I'll look after you.
been sorted in the
Hello there. Perhaps you can help me.
Hello? Were you calling me?
I was, yes. Thought you might be interested in joining me for a bit of an adventure. Following a treasure map, to be precise. Slight respite from battling the odd troll, I should think. Asked Poppy if she'd be interested as well, but couldn't drag her away from her puff skein. I found 2 maps lying about, both leading to locations around Hogwarts. Care to have a look at one?
Following a Hogwarts treasure map? Count me in.
Wonderful. Hogwarts fascinates me. You can keep whatever treasure lies at the end of your map. I'll be satisfied just knowing where it leads.
Where do you suggest I search first?
Based on a cursory review of your map, I'd suggest somewhere near Hecate's classroom.
Very well. I shall take a look if I can find the time.
Fair enough. Meet me back here if you find anything.
A rhinoceros skeleton. I'm on the right track.
You're here. Brilliant.
I received your owl. What happened with Ominis?
I told him none of us will be able to avoid dark magic forever. So the more we know about Salazar Slytherin and the dark arts, the better prepared we'll be. Unfortunately, only a Gaunt knows the location of the Scriptorium's entrance, and Ominis won't tell me.
Perhaps I should have a chat with Ominis.
You? I suppose it's worth a try. But don't get your hopes up. Ominis is annoyingly stubborn. Nothing new. I know where he is. I'll lead you to him and then leave you to it. Come on. He's this way. Keep an eye out. Never know who's watching, although that hasn't stopped us before.
Strictly speaking, it has. We were caught.
Damned poltergeist. Such a nuisance. There he is. Good luck.
What are you doing here?
Hello, Ominis. Do you have a moment?
What is it? What have you and Sabastian been up to now?
I owe you an apology, Ominis. I wasn't honest with you before about the Undercroft. Sabastian did show it to me. He wanted me to have a safe place to practice some spells, to try and catch up to the other 5th years. He didn't think you'd mind.
I suppose that makes sense. It's just Sebastian's been pestering me lately about something and I'm frustrated with him.
Don't tell me he's still going on about, what was it, a Scriptorium?
He told you about that?
He did. We were talking about Hogwarts founders and he mentioned it. Wouldn't say much more though.
Yes, well, he seems to think it contains the answer to saving Anne. I think it's likely full of dark magic that is better left untouched.
Wait, you've never been inside?
Of course not. I only know about it because of my favourite aunt, Noctua. She thought like I do. Didn't agree with the family on the use of dark magic. In fact, she'd hoped to convince my family that there was more to Salazar Slytherin than worshipping pureblood status. She'd heard of this Scriptorium and thought its contents might shed some light on him. She even found the secret entrance in this very corridor. She wrote regularly to my father about her efforts to gain access, and then she simply vanished. No one else ever tried to enter.
That's a bit unnerving. I suppose even if it might lead to answers about what happened to your aunt, it does pose a risk.
Aunt Noctua went down this path with good intentions and lost her life. I don't want the same to happen again.
You don't know that history will repeat itself. Besides, you said your aunt thought like you. This could honor her memory, get you answers about Slytherin and Sebastian answers for Anne. Your aunt pursued this alone. We could do it together.
I see what you've done here, and I confess, you've convinced me. I didn't think it possible. Very well. I shall tell you what I know. Fetch Sebastian, I'll wait. I hope we don't regret this.
Sebastian! Over here!
These braziers grant access to the Scriptorium.
Now you'll share? You wouldn't tell me when I practically begged.
It wasn't you who told me what I needed to hear. Opening the entrance has something to do with 3s.
Well, 3 heads are better than 1.
It's 2 heads are better than 1.
And by that logic, 3 is better than 2. Simple mathematics, Ominis.
Confringo!
Something's happening.
I hope we're ready for this.
Dark, ominous corridors. My favorite.
No comment.
Come on, that was a good one. Looks like a locked door. We may want to look around.
A journal entry, signed by Noctua Gaunt.
Gaunt? Ominis, your family was here.
I know. She was my aunt.
You knew? And didn't tell me?
Ominis, The journal mentions many challenges ahead.
That's why I said this could be dangerous. Aunt Noctua kept my father informed until she vanished.
Repair room. The rubble formed a relief of a person facing a snake.
That must be the voice I hear. The voice is ancient, sinister.
You hear a voice?
It started when you repaired that relief. I hear a whisper saying, "Speak to me." I'm a parcel mouth. I can hear and speak to snakes. Nearly all known parcel mouths are descended from Salazar Slytherin.
I'd like to be able to talk to snakes.
You might not want the ability to speak past the tongue. It's often associated with dark wizards. I haven't spoken it in ages, but I'd wager if I speak it now, the door will open. I'm hoping you're having second thoughts.
Believe me, I am having thoughts, but I'm still convinced we should go ahead.
It's ironic. When I left home, I vowed to leave the dark arts behind, and yet here I am. Stand back. I can't believe I'm doing this.
It worked! Ominis, you possess a rare ability indeed.
Between the two of you, I'm starting to feel left out.
Between the two of us?
Never mind. There's no clear way forward.
Like a maze. Salazar Slytherin most likely wanted this to be difficult to solve.
The door we came from, it closed, and there's more than one gate ahead.
Then look closely at each gate for clues.
Lumos! The dial requires focus.
Aunt Noctua said the same. It may take practice to solve it.
Matching the symbols did open it.
Was about to do that myself.
Lumos.
Got to it first. Nice work.
Confringo! Lumos. Confringo! This journal entry, it mentions getting lost and being unwelcome.
Poor Aunt Noctua.
Another gate.
Seems Slytherin like to play games.
Plus running the family.
Look in a mirror, Sebastian. That sounded promising.
Another dial solved.
Impressive. Nice work.
Lumos. Ominis, your aunt wanted to change your family's traditions.
She did, and she was my favorite person in the world for it.
Lumos.
We've got more to solve ahead.
Search each corridor. It may not be obvious which leads where.
Noctua references painful and arduous challenges, but also rewards.
Painful. That's the part I'm wary of.
All I heard was rewards. Keep going. Not the welcoming sort, was he? Every dial seems to be getting more difficult, but we've made it this far. Don't give up.
I imagine the speeds vary and symbols differ for every dial.
It seems the dial moves faster than before. Perhaps check you're matching the correct symbols.
Lumos.
Excellent work. We're another step closer to the Scriptorium.
Lumos. Revelio. Lumos.
I spotted something ahead. Looks troubling.
This whole place is troubling, but for my aunt's sake, we cannot stop now.
The gate! I think we're locked in. Again.
Then Salazar Slytherin is not yet finished with us.
Ominis. Her skeleton. And Noctua's last journal entry. She mentions being trapped here, blocked by an unforgivable curse.
This is where she died. This is where we'll die. I shouldn't have listened to either of you.
Ominis, I'm truly sorry about your aunt. But I know what to do. It's going to be difficult.
You said you know what to do.
Tortured faces on the door and Crucios etched into the stone. My guess is if we cast the Cruciatus curse, the door will open. That's why Noctua died. She had no one to cast the curse on. Ominis has the most experience with this. He should cast it. You seem to be in Ominis' favor. Will you ask him about this?
He does seem a bit cross with you. I'll speak with him.
Good. Work your magic, so to speak. Wish we had some liquid luck.
All of this could have been avoided.
Lumos! Ominis, I hadn't imagined we'd end up trapped like this.
Salazar Slytherin did. He's to blame for many unimaginable things. I overheard you and Sabastian, and I won't do it. The Cruciatus curse is pure torture, I would know.
Sabastian told me a little of what happened when you were young. Sounds as if you had no choice.
Should have known he would have told you. And one always has a choice. I'm as guilty as the worst of my family. Unforgivable curses won't work unless you really mean them. I had to want to cause pain, and for that I shall never forgive myself. That spells the reason I have no family left. You and Sabastian will need to sort out another solution. If you cast Crucio, you will regret it forever.
What do we do now? Ominis is not going to cast the Cruciatus curse again.
Ridiculous! As if dying in here is a better option than casting a damned spell. It's up to us. I can teach you Crucio, or I can cast it on you.
Wait, you didn't say you knew how to cast Crucio?
Because I'm not sure I do. Ominis knows that, yet he's left us no choice. I don't yearn to follow in Noctua Gaunt's footsteps. I think I can cast it if I have to.
I don't want to learn the curse, but I can handle the pain. It's fine. Cast it on me.
I shan't forget this.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Crucio! Are you all right?
That pain, it was excruciating. But I'll survive. Let's keep moving.
We made it. We found Salazar Slytherin's Scriptorium.
I can't believe we're here.
Sabastian, Ominis, there's a book just here.
You found something?
You two go ahead. Let me know what's in it. I'll wander around a bit.
May I have a look?
What do you think?
Looks like a spellbook of some kind. This is incredible. A Hogwarts founder's possession, What an honor. Still can't believe Ominis never told me about his aunt and what she found.
What will you do with Slytherin's spellbook?
What I do with every book. Read it. Having professors as parents ingrained that habit early on. But I can do that later. For now, I say we explore this room. It's breathtaking.
I think I've been uneasy feeling about this place. You couldn't linger here. Let's find a way out, please.
I don't want to leave, but I owe you. Both of you. Without both of you, we'd never have made it this far.
We were lucky. We could have died. We must swear never to do this again.
I see a way out.
Best news I've heard all day.
Ominis, about your aunt.
Please, Sebastian. I meant what I said before. We swear, right now, never to engage in anything to do with dark magic again.
Understood. I'm truly sorry about your aunt, Ominis.
I suppose after all this, I am grateful to know what happened to her. Thank you. Heard you're defending Hogsmeade against trolls. You know, there is such a thing as trying too hard.
Aloha, Mora.
you're back. Nice to see you again. What are we looking for today? Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again.
Hello there, come on in. Plenty to look at here. Let's look at what we have, shall we? Nothing like finding just the right thing, is there? Let me know if there's anything else I can do to help.
I should dismount here.
One wonders if one's life is indeed carved out by destiny, or merely the spawn of ill choices made along the way.
Revelio.
Most goblins in my family worked in the mines at one time or other.
Expelliarmus! Accio! Defender!
Oh!